Welcome back to Module 6, Turning Problems into Possibilities. Right, well, let's explore your options. So, we've looked at what's important to you. So now we're going to explore the options that are right for you, and we're going to try out a few to see how they feel. One of the best ways of exploring your options is to get curious and open-minded and relax and think outside of your usual safe spot or comfort zone. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway, and being pleasantly surprised how good you feel afterwards. You may feel overwhelmed by your circumstances that you find yourself in at the moment, and you can't see a way out or through your situation, as the goal of a more balanced life seems far away in the future or the distance. But don't worry, this is perfectly normal, and this is where parent coaching comes in to help you to break down those big goals into manageable, bite-sized chunks or steps which feel more manageable and doable. Now, this stage can feel a bit frustrating because you can see what you want to do, but you may feel a bit trapped in or powerless to move yourself forward. Everyone feels like that at times, and that's why people stay locked in or trapped into their jobs that they hate or they've outgrown, because they feel dispirited and a bit drained, and they do become sometimes a bit cynical and angry about the way life has treated them. I bet you can think of plenty of people like that. I know I can. But what I'm going to help you do is move beyond that feeling of helplessness, because there are things that you can do to change your choices or your circumstances that can help you move towards happiness and more peace. Feeling trapped and helpless is perfectly normal, but you can deal with it and handle it by starting to explore your options. I remember as soon as I learnt this, it felt like a heavy burden had been lifted from my shoulders with a wonderful sense of relief just by exploring some things I could do. I remember writing down some really outrageous ideas. Some of them were wild, some of them were wacky, some of them were brilliant, and some of them I've now accomplished, because it was really liberating to just brainstorm and write wildly with no sense of limitation. Money was no object, time was no object, responsibilities were no object. I just explored, just helping myself to free myself up to look at some different ways of doing things. And just by exploring helped me to change my perspective and the sense of deadlock and limitation I felt before. Actually, it felt like I had a secret from my job. I had an escape plan if I wanted it. And I could choose what happened to me, how I felt, how I worked, and when and how I spent time with my kids. So this is the exciting part of looking at what will happen to you next. This is moving from the problems to possibilities mindset. One of the major things that make you feel stuck in a rut and out of control is the human tendency to see your life in terms of problems instead of possibilities. I remember a client of mine who often complained about his life as a deputy head teacher. He felt overworked, underpaid, invisible, and frustrated as he struggled with his desire and dream to write a book, to own a wine bar in France, and lead a more balanced life with his 2 kids and partner. He came to me disillusioned and a bit cynical about life and how it had turned out. He saw his life as if it was something that had happened to him, not as if he had an active, participating role in it. And that's when he met me. By working with him on how he would like his life to be and working on all his possibilities, silly, outrageous, practical and impractical to start with, did we find out what I call his Spice Girls moment. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. So we looked at the obstacles in his way and we looked at ways around them. We looked at ways through them, or we looked at ways to overcome those obstacles, because they really do exist in life, and finding a balance in your life is about shining a torch on those difficulties, facing them, and then walking round them purposefully and positively and confidently, knowing that they fit in with your principles and values in life, and they feel right in the way that they affect everyone important and special in your life too. So by seeing his life in terms of possibilities, he freed himself up from his limitations. He saw his dreams as goals with a date, a way forward, and a really motivating factor as he became excited about achieving them easily and in small, manageable steps. Some of them took him quite a few years to achieve, and I now discover on Facebook and Twitter that he has a wine bar in France and he writes a food blog. So how about that? He allowed his mind to start saying yes, not automatically no, and he watched his wishes turn into realities. He changed from being a man who liked to say no and who closed down his life into the man who liked to say, well, why not? Let's explore. This yes mentality makes you start to think about positive solutions to your problems. It's called a growth mindset. So, in what ways are you holding yourself back by your own attitude? What would happen if you changed your mindset to yes? Why not? Well, at least let's explore. If you hear yourself saying yes, and that's all very well, Sue, but be on your guard. The word but is a killer of dreams. At first, this new way of thinking won't feel perhaps natural to you, but as I often say, you become what you practice. So why not take a small step to find out where you'd really like to go? This could actually change your life. Let's look at increasing your resources. For the next week, just pay special attention to what other people are doing with regard to work-life balance. Ask people at work how they manage their juggling. Notice the influences that they're all around you. Look at TV programmes from that perspective, DVDs or great films. Surf on the net to find articles about balancing your life, or read a different newspaper or a magazine with ideas to help you. And just explore a wider range of resources that may help you. Spend some time doing something that engrosses, absorbs and relaxes you, so you start to think about new solutions to old ways of doing things. And that's all in a natural way. Pause to ponder. Often when you're driving or washing up or doing something pretty mundane, does your unconscious come up with some cracking ideas because you're not trying too hard? So I want you now to grab a cup of coffee and let's think about what's possible. Let's brainstorm. What is your fastest and quickest option? Let's look at what's your scariest option, the most difficult option, the most risky option, your most exciting option, the one that gets your heart racing and your eyes dancing. Now, all of these options have an upside and a downside. So let's just look at what's safe, what's scary, what's difficult, what's risky, or what's exciting for you. Jot them down. Now look at them again, measured against what feels right for your family as a whole. What factors do you need to take account of? What responsibilities and commitments do you need to honour? But remember to keep the possibility mindset while you do this. Notice what comes into your mind as you ask yourself these questions. Do you get a sense of your own abilities and capabilities? If you find yourself saying, well, I couldn't possibly do that, simply ask yourself, why not? Is it because you've never done anything like this before? Or is it that you may be frightened of failing? Or is it conflicting with a principle that you hold. While you're reflecting and considering each of the options that you've written down, who do you know already or could find in the future to help you with your new plans? How can they help you to move you forward? What are the gaps in your knowledge or skills that you might like to learn or discover more about while you move towards your more balanced life? Now, take some time to look back over all your statements, and I want you to reframe them into the present tense as if they are happening right now. Now, don't miss this bit out, as your mind really likes to hear things stated as if they're really happening now. Start to write things down like, I am successful at balancing my home life with the kids and my commitments at work. I get home in time 3 times a week to read to the kids, and I enjoy working on complicated projects at work. I provide the family with the lifestyle that we all feel happy with, and I enjoy my life to the full. I'm really pleased with the little changes I'm making to constantly keep an eye on my work-life balance. Which option feels like the most compelling one to you that you wrote down? The one you can really see yourself doing and achieving despite all your fears and doubts. And finally, ask yourself, what is the very first baby step you need to propel yourself into enthusiastic action? Perhaps you just need to sit down with your partner over a cup of coffee or a glass of wine to chat through how you're feeling, or to explore some of your options together. Perhaps you need to sit down with your employer and talk about some new ways for you to work. Perhaps you need to explore new childcare facilities or stay-at-home options. Maybe you just need to phone a friend to talk about your ideas so you get your own clarity by just speaking out loud about them. Maybe you need to find your own champion, a friend, a relative, or a parent coach like me to help you, to encourage you and to believe in you as you make these changes. Just stop and make yourself a promise to take the first step today. If you'd like to work with me, if you're a member of my club, you can have a monthly free call with me. Just by stepping up and giving me a call, I'll be there to champion you, support you, nurture you, believe in you for an hour a call once a month. So if that's an option, go and explore that. But that's it for today. And so until next time, it's time to smarten up. And I'll explain what I mean by that in the next video.